Hello and welcome to another episode of Ask the Wizard, streaming live for August the 12th, starting the 5-minute counter right now. Teaching topic starts in 5 minutes. Miracles are easy once you realize what they're not. All right, be back in 5. See you soon, guys. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Let me turn this down a bit, or we're going to get echo. There we go. I know I should wear headphones, but I like the speakers to monitor, so there we go. All right, welcome to Ask the Wizard, streaming live for August the 12th. Simulcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. strip the audio out and post that on Anchor.fm podcast website, and the one you'll be more familiar with, Spotify. Search for Ask the Wizard Coach. You will find me. And actually, Spotify, if you happen to be on I guess any device really, probably, Spotify now streams video as well. So I can upload the whole thing. And of course, it plays the audio, but you also have the opportunity to watch the video, which is kind of cool as well. A bit of an announcement, maybe a reminder. I've spent, actually not a lot of cash, but a lot of time accumulating the equipment. It's, I'll say easy for lack of a better word. It's easy to spend an awful lot of money. So in this case here on streaming and recording equipment and still have a really crappy product. The magic is not spending a lot of money and still having a pretty darn good product. So that's what I've ended up with here. So if you're looking at developing I'll say a social media presence, at least in the form of video or even audio, same thing. Or if you've been wanting to make some instructional videos, maybe you're wanting to promote your business using video, or maybe you want to stream live, but you either are not, kind of don't have the tech savvy, if you will, to do it, or you're wondering if you have the equipment to do it. If it's just a pain in the ass to do that and you would just like to, create the content, well, of course, I can also do that remotely. All you need is a phone, really. And then I tap you in any media that you might want to share. If there's more than one of you and you want to have it like as a guest interviews and things like that, I can produce it all from here. You don't have to even leave anywhere where you happen to be. We just connect you in and away you go. And then, of course, at the end of it, just like I'm doing right now, it's recording all this. Then you also have the recordings that you can take clips from and then, of course, reuse them forever to post on whatever platforms you wish to use. So just message me if that's something you're interested in. Really, donation basis. That's it. Just donation basis. That's all. All right, teaching moment for the show. I'm going to go teaching. I haven't done a teaching moment transition for a while. So here comes a teaching moment. Here we go. There, I got to use that. Hooray for me. I actually have sound effects too. Where is it? I'm just testing this, so this one will be kind of dumb. It's like the Jeopardy thing, isn't it? Anyway. You can have sound effects if you want, but let's kind of wander our way. Oh, hey, Gilbert, how you doing? So thanks for accepting my friend request, and I'll send you a message on how I found you, actually. And well, I didn't really creep you. I just searched for you. And when I found your webpage or your Facebook profile, I just thought, this is a really cool guy. I like what he posts. I like what you represent. And so I just sent you a friend request. I was going to send you a message and kind of explain who this weird long-haired guy was that was sending you this friend request. But I didn't, so. Dear. So thank you for accepting my friend request, or, oh, you're going to be so sorry. But moving along. Okay. Miracles are easy once you realize what they're not. So think of the word miracle and the connotation of it. We usually use the word miracle when we've decided we're screwed, right? Basically, there's no hope, whatever this problem is. There's no way it's going to fix itself. There's no way out of it. It's all darkness and life is ending. And so we'll say it's going to take a miracle to get me out of this. It's going to take a miracle in order for this to work out okay. It's going to take a miracle for this to happen. Have you ever applied? Yes, I know you have. Have you ever applied that word to a dream or a desire, which is really kind of the theme for the show today? It is how many times have you had a desire and then almost automatically, probably automatically, the voices in your head, and they might not use the word exactly, but basically what they're saying is there's no way this dream or this desire that you have that feels really good is going to work out. So essentially, it would take a miracle for this dream or this desire, now a little bit of a different end of the spectrum, the dream or desire to actually manifest, or again, the other end is this problem to somehow resolve itself. You know what's really interesting is how many, I was actually watching, what was I watching? I was watching a series on Netflix, and it was about, well, actually, there was one that's called Toys That Sort of Changed Our Lives, and the other was Movies That Changed Our Lives. And I tell you, Forrest Gump. I mean, any of you that are older than 30 or whatever will know more Forrest Gump. If not, Google it. That movie never should have been made. It was shut down. I don't know how many times. The head of the executive of development at the movie production studio, they tried to shut it down. I don't know how many times. And it was kind of, it will take a miracle for this to actually work. And of course, we know what that did. Even a couple of, what do they have? One on there that's it's one of the horror, like Friday the 13th, or one of those, if you will, cheesy horror movies. And I tell you, this never should have happened. Right? Some of the actors, when they were acting in it, they said, sort of, I know this is just a dumb movie, but it's okay because nobody will see it anyway. And of course, these movie series, maybe they're not up for Academy Awards, but one of them, the return on the investment was like 10 times. And of course, one of them they had to distribute on their own because the establishment, everyone else, including sometimes the voices in our head, are telling us it can never happen. It will take a miracle for this to happen. So then what is a miracle? Essentially, a miracle is, when we use that word, we're already coming from that vibrational set point that this is never going to happen. Otherwise, we wouldn't use the word miracle, would we? So this is why, and it's, I guess, a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek. My miracles are easily, once you realize what they're not, but it's actually very mechanically accurate. So let's bring in Mr. Flipchart. He behaved well yesterday, so let's see if he's going to behave well today. And let's look from a mechanical perspective what a miracle is, because once we understand that, then we can start to identify, again, I'm going to say what it's not. I think that's the thing. The first thing in manifesting a miracle is realizing that it's not the miracle, at least in the connotation that it's so often used. Okay, let's bring in Mr. Flipchart right here. Okay, is Mr. Flipchart going to work for us today? Son of a gun, he is. Okay, so you know me and what we call geometrics, which is circles and triangles and spirals and all sort of cool stuff. They give us maps to help us navigate a lot of these concepts and these philosophies, these neighborhoods, if you will, that are somewhat etherical in nature, and allow us to really break it down to these raw components, and like a map, just like a mechanical map that you can navigate. Okay, so here is your thinking. This is your mindset. This is your belief system. This is a society's belief system, right? So you think of those movies, right? They believed it would work. Basically, everybody else, including some of the actors, were sure that it wouldn't. So inside this circle of thought processes, belief systems, mindsets, is what we call logical. Right? So when we have a thought, when we have a desire, or again, the other end of the spectrum, where we have a problem, and we go, okay, how am I going to fix this problem? Or if you have this desire, you're working and manifesting. And if you can look at either one of those and go, well, let's see. I think, I'm going to go with manifesting a desire, but the same applies for the other end too. I really want to do this. And I think I can figure out a way. I mean, it makes sense that this is a desire, that it's achievable for me. And I think I could figure out how to do it. It's going to take a lot of work, but I think I can figure out how to do it. Well, why and where does that fit on this map? Well, first of all, I'll use the word desire, dream. Again, pick your label. That desire lives in here. It is a logical desire. It makes sense. And then the thought processes and following through with the actions that you're going to need to take to achieve that desire, well, they're also in here too. Whoops, hold on. So the actions that you're going to take to manifest a desire, well, that makes sense. It's going to take some work, but that makes sense. Where are they? They're inside here too. So inside this circle is where the desires live, and then the thought processes and the actions to manifest it live as well. Everything's logical. Everything's fine. So here's the thing. There's all this out here. Right? This, while it's all well and good, is a defined region or area. And what happens is we forget that this is even out there. I grew up on a farm, and cows, when you let the cows out in the pasture, the first thing they do is they circle the entire pasture along the fence line looking for a hole, a way to get out. If they can't find one, in a relatively short period of time, they stop looking for a hole, period. Why? Because they've defined the limitations in their, in this case, life experience. Then they don't even bother looking outside of the fence. How many of us have decided there's nothing outside of this defined area that we call logic, or that we could call possible? How many of us have forgotten that this even exists? How many of us decided to not even bother looking? How many of us have decided that this desire that it feels so good, but it doesn't live in here, it lives out here? How many of us have decided that because it's not logical or doesn't make sense, we have no clue how we're going to make it happen? And of course, then we have no clue the actions that we're going to take because we don't know how it's going to happen. So what we do is we say, oh my goodness, I just about, there we go. You guys know I can't spell. It will take a miracle for this to manifest. And so then right off the hop here, we're going, this desire feels really, really good, but it would take a miracle for it to happen. And then how many times do we simply let the desire go? Because everybody knows if it's going to take a miracle to happen, in all likelihood, it won't happen. So why should I even bother? This is really good. Why should I even bother believing? Why should I even bother dreaming? And why put my heart into it? I mean, maybe I can this is really good. Maybe I can daydream, every once in a while around it, and stuff like that. But to actually put my heart into it, to actually have the audacity to believe that even though it's out here, it could happen. But remember, the only reason that it's going to take a miracle is because it's outside of this. I could be wrong. I believe it was Einstein. I could be wrong. And I'm going to screw the quote up just to let you know right now. But I believe Einstein said that the level of thinking that created the problem, I know I'm screwing this up, but it'll work. The level of thinking that created the problem is not the same level of thinking that will solve it. So what you need to do first is change your thinking, to change your thought process, to change your mind. Now, to expand this, because we've learned to limit, I think that'll bring it back. Hold on. There we go. We have learned to limit what we believe is possible by deciding that this is immovable, that this can't grow and expand, which is why The best, I know it's cliche, but it's true. The best investment you'll ever make is in you. Because guess what happens? This can change. And so then, I'll just get rid of these guys. So then if you can have this grow like out to here, right? Working on yourself, whatever that looks like. Or maybe out to here, right? Or maybe out to here. No, I'm not going to say this is not going to take work. This is going to be, I know from personal experience, this is the hardest, no, this is the most challenging work you'll ever do. But it's the best work you'll ever do. Because the only reason your dream or your desire isn't possible, therefore it would take a miracle to manifest, is because that defined region of your thinking, of your mindset, again, of your belief systems, is currently smaller than the dream or the desire. But it can change. This is why working on yourself in whatever way that fits for you, that's all you got to do. And I realize that's a big all, right? Because what happens is, and you've kind of seen this already, all of a sudden, right? Build. All of a sudden now, this desire that was out, I know I make a mess of this, that was outside of here is now not. It's now inside. And all of a sudden, what was impossible before, what would take a miracle before, all of a sudden it doesn't seem that way anymore. All of a sudden, you're going to start to think thoughts and then follow through with actions and behaviors that will, all of a sudden, it will make sense to you. It didn't make sense before, and now it does. Why is that? Because your level, if you will, that defined region has grown. And when that grows, all of a sudden, the impossible becomes possible. That was really good. And then that's when you realize that all things are possible. Our job, your job, my job, is to continually, consistently expand our level of thinking. And then we start to realize that all things are possible. Maybe they're not possible right now, but they can be. Of course, the trick is you just never quit. Hence my hashtag, too stubborn to quit. You just never quit. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate it appreciate it so much. Share. We're all in this together. See you on the web.